Alright guys, so here's the review of a new brand on AliExpress, Aimimo Design. I think it's somehow affiliated with Pagani Design possibly, but you'll probably see why I'm saying that once we get into it. Full disclosure though, I was sent the watch for free, don't have to send it back, but you know the score. So I'm going to change the way I do my reviews, I'm going to keep it 100% honest all the time, no matter what. So it comes in a simple cardboard box, and then we've got the warranty card, which isn't signed or dated. Instruction manual, branded cleaning cloth, then we've got the watch itself. Pop that to one side for a second. Only other thing in here is the links I've taken out, so it's not going to fit a massive size wrist because I've got a 7-inch wrist, so I've taken out the 4. Seeing as we're talking about it though, let's have a look at these links. So we've got polished centre section, brushed on the outside, and then nice polished chamfered details on the edge, and they are push pins as well. And here's the watch itself. So you can see I've got the blue dial version. They actually have a couple of other versions as well. They've got a silver one, or white, I'm not entirely sure. Looks silver on the pictures. And they've got a green one as well. I'll probably leave pictures on screen so you can see them. So before we get down into this properly, let's go over the dimensions. So we've got a diameter of 41.5, but obviously the actual width of that is a bit wider. That's coming in more like 43. Then with the thickness, got 10.7. So we've got an integrated bracelet, but I'll give you the measurement on that anyway. So it's 24.3 at the top, but it tapers down quite a bit to 16.6 at the bottom. So a pretty considerable taper on that. When it comes to the lug to lug, we've got an actual lug to lug of about 46, just under, but we have actually got male end links on this. So I'll probably do this from underneath because it'll probably be a bit more reflective of the actual effective lug to lug. It's more like 51, but I'll show you what it's like on wrist in a bit because it's a little bit awkward to show that. So quickly talk about the rest of this. So we've got pretty nice case finishing, got a mixture of brushed and polished. So we've got brushed on these sections, then polished in the centre, and then that continues over to the top. Let's get a zoom in. And then on the case on the top you've got brushed, again nice polishing on the bezel, and again the top of it is brushed. And that kind of continues on with the bracelet as well, as I showed you earlier. Give it a quick wipe. See any problem with the polish bits? They can be a bit of a fingerprint magnet, but they are really nicely done. And then we got that polished chamfer detail on the edge that I talked about earlier. And then we got butterfly clasp. And then if we look at the case back, you can see we've got a display case back there. So the movement in this is the 8215, but we'll talk about that in a bit. So you've got stainless steel, 100 metres, 100 metre water resistance, Aimimo Design, the model number AD8168, in fact it's got sapphire crystal, and it's 3160. So, seeing as they've said it's sapphire crystal, let's test that out using the trusty diamond slots too. And yep, we've got sapphire crystal. Let's quickly test out the back. And that is actually sapphire as well, which is really good considering the price of this watch. You don't expect that at all. You don't tend to get that on a lot of the more expensive AliExpress watches, so it's really good to see it on this more budget orientated one. Definitely a plus. So let's get a zoom in on the dial and talk about that a bit more. So it's a really nice sunburst effect on that, and then we've got that striped kind of ridged pattern. Nicely done. Got applied indices, printed branding at the top, automatic just below that, and then nothing above the 6, and then that date window at 3 o'clock. All nicely done, no obvious issues. Same with the hands, could possibly be a touch longer, but overall not too bad. And again, nicely finished. So now let's see what the lume's like on this. So you can see we've got a little bit of lume there already, but let's charge it up, give it a proper chance. And there we go. So as always, my camera's coming up a little bit blue to begin with, but once it adjusts you can see it is actually green. So not too bad, the lume on this. Evenly applied, no patchiness. The hands are a tiny bit duller than the indices, which isn't ideal. But again, with this kind of price to watch, you can kind of forgive that, because you know that's going to be one of the places they're cutting the costs a bit on the lume. It's never going to be the greatest. It's okay, but it's not great. If they'd added a little bit more to the hands to match them up to the indices, maybe it'll be a little bit better. But again, as always, it is slightly better in person than it's appearing on camera. So before I show you what it's like on wrist, quickly talk about this movement. So as I said, it's the Miyota 8215. So I've got a screw down crown on this. Again, oh, didn't actually show you, it is signed as well. So pop it out, in fact pop it out twice, move those hands out of the way. So pop it out once, you can change the date, pop it out again, you can see the second hand is still going, so we haven't actually got hacking on this, which is one of the downsides with the Miyota 8215. And change the time, pop it back in, and then you've got a hand winding, and then screw it back in. So again, not my favourite movement in the Miyota 8215, partly because of the hacking, but more if I can get this to show up on camera. Don't know if you can hear that rotor noise. It's a little bit loud. So that's part of the, well, that's the main reason I'm not overly keen on them. This is one of the slightly better ones, I'd say. It's not overly loud. Unless you're in a really quiet room waving your arm around, you're probably going to be alright. But something to bear in mind. So now let's show you what it's like on wrist, and then we'll wrap this up. So this is what it looks like on my 7-inch wrist. And as I said, it does wear really nicely. Despite having those male end links, because they're so small and because they curve down pretty quickly, it still conforms to the wrist nicely. And this bracelet is really nice. The way it catches the light, all those polished surfaces and the little chamfer details and everything. Obviously butterfly clasp, you may not get the perfect sizing. That's one of the downsides, because you don't have any micro adjust, but that's going to be one of those hit or miss kind of things. With my 7-inch wrist, it's perfectly fine. Again, just really nicely finished. No obvious issues. If I had to pick anything, it'd probably be that movement. Again, it's not my favourite, but again, for the price, for what else you're getting with the double sapphire, both front and back, nice finishing, nice tapered bracelet, nice dial. I just think it's a really good overall package. So if you do like this kind of look, links are down in the description as always. If you want to see a similar kind of watch I've reviewed, I'll leave a link to another one at the end here. That's the Bleeger. But that's it for this one, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.